Good
morning, everybody, and welcome. Today is Monday, December 11th, 2023. The time is 9 o'clock. I'm calling this regular term meeting, the B County Commissioners Court, to order. We are physically located at B County Courthouse, Commissioners Courtroom, number 110, 105 West Corpus Christi Street, Beeville, Texas, 78102. That was the call to order. I didn't ask anybody to pray, so Commissioner Fadias stood up first. Commissioner Fadias, will you lead us in a brief prayer? Thank you, sir.
Awesome. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the blessings you provide for us. We ask you to please watch over this court and all the decisions that we make. Please protect all of our citizens and all people that are out there. We ask you to watch over our military service that's close by and that are abroad. And in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Excellent job on very short notice.
Thank you.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And the Texas Pledge.
On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
I know, I did it very well this morning. I was laughing as I was driving to Valdi on Friday after our city cog meeting, because I had thought about the pledge. I'm like, you know what? I did it very well at the Coastal Bend Council of Governments. I wasn't leading it. And here I just have some mental issue that's popped up, and right now I'm doing pretty well, so I'm pretty proud of myself. But probably for 30 minutes in the car, I went through and I just kept reciting the pledge. I couldn't remember the last part, for all. I kept making it sound like a prayer. I don't know, I was like, well, I can't figure it out. And I never thought to Google, oh, I'm sorry, did I speak too long? All right. Okay, moving on. Agenda item number 4, recognition of visitors. This isn't public comment. If you'd like to speak during public comment, that agenda item will come up later. This is the recognition of visitors. And so I'm recognizing y'all. Thank you for being here this morning. If there's anybody who would like to identify themselves just for the record, you're welcome to do so at this time, but you're under no compunction to do so. Okay.
Good morning, I'm Audrey Ramirez, resident of Precinct 3.
Oh, welcome. Thank you for being here. Anybody else? Okay, moving on. Agenda item number 5, Commissioners Court opening remarks. Commissioner Olivares, I believe it's your turn to start, sir.
Great. Thank you, Judge. Merry Christmas, everyone. But we may have another meeting or not before then, so, and I'll say it again. Anyway, Merry Christmas. First of all, I'd like to start out with a little bit of recognition. I'd like to recognize Ryan Garza, just for being a good team player and being proactive. You know, one of the great things he does keeps me in the loop when things are happening in my precinct. So appreciate that, Ryan. Thank you very much. Just kind of a general note, been a little bit active here in meetings. Some meetings I attended since our last meetings, LEPC meeting, attended a meeting with the Red Cross, the Sheriff's Department, Beeville City Council meeting, Beeville Animal Control, Parks and Recreation, TxDOT, Skidmore Fire Department, and the Skidmore Water District. Give everyone a little bit of update what's happening with the EOC building. The notice of award and contract has been submitted to Victory. We completed the value engineering review, and I'd like to say thanks to the team for their effort. Their efforts yielded a great savings here of about $14,500 in savings just by reviewing what was going to be required. Final contract was reviewed by the county attorney. I reviewed it myself and some of the other team members, and hopefully today we'll have it signed by the court. Victory has completed a detailed schedule, and they've already actually started ordering the bond. So the next steps after we get past these small processes, they have a pre-construction meeting. So looking forward to having that. One of the areas in the appraisal district side, just to kind of make everyone aware, I received an additional tax bill after paying all my taxes in October. The quick answer is apparently Pritchard and Abbott submitted some incomplete data, so planning to meet with the appraisal district to really understand what is going to be the impact to the county and to the taxpayer. So that was a pretty interesting bill. So more to come with that. In the area of Skidmore, so far no action has been taken. Last I spoke, we're waiting on Concrete Company Mesquite to help clean up the intersection of 181 and 359, so nothing's been done there. I have received several calls on dogs again recently. But interesting enough, I did get a call from an individual that was interested in providing or starting up a shelter for animals. Now, granted, there was a whole nother level of discussion, process, funding, but anyhow, someone was interested in doing some of that. Also received several calls on adding some signage to the roads to help deter dumping in the area. So more discussion will be coming on that. I've been working with the auditor's team here to, something's been ongoing, but we're making some headway on the lighting in precinct 4. Met with the Skidmore EMS concerning some protocol and paging of the medical services. So I'll be planning and coordinating and facilitating a meeting to discuss some of the issues, and hopefully we can get that resolved pretty quick. I do have some good news. In my address during the lighting of the trees, I mentioned the importance of compassion, kindness, and extending generosity to those that might be facing some challenges or some hardships. So I have personally witnessed some dumpster diving and also received calls from people that are in need of help. So I'm proud to say that I am going to be partnering with the Justice of the Peace, the Constable, myself, and we'll be partnering with the Coastal Bend Food Bank to start distribution of food for those in need. Planning to start this in January. The good news is there's no cost to the county. The funding will be coming from personal donations. And then also I'd like to express, if anyone out there else would like to support this effort, would be greatly appreciated, and just give me a call. In Tynan, Grant Works is continuing to move forward with our project down there. Applications for items 1 through 4, won't get into those details, but they have been submitted to the Texas Department of Agriculture, and that process is moving. Still waiting on some pending payments, but we'll be moving forward with that. A change order has been issued to amend and to be approved by the TVA for completing payment on the contract. The amendment was basically to remove the new ground storage tank and also to adjust the size of the generator. Some more action here in Tynan is the solar panel project, just one. Anyhow, the county has been contacted by a company called Principal Services wanting to construct a battery energy storage station next to an electrical substation. The judge and I have had brief conversation. I think the next plan is to set up a meeting. The judge may have already done that. I don't know, Judge, I think he may or may not reach out. Anyhow, we're coordinating with the judge to understand exactly what's going to be the requirement of it. So anyhow, some of the information that they're going to be needing is some plat information, fire suppression information. So Ryan, I may need to be reaching back out to you again. And I think they may have had, Robbie, you may have been included some of those emails, I believe. So anyhow, so I may also what I'd like to do is I'm probably going to be reaching out to a couple other commissioners that have a little bit more vast experience in solar panels and wind farms, and look at the pluses and cons that might be attributed to this. So very good. In the area of Beeville, I received a call from a homeowner concerning grass and leveling of the ground near a ditch. Have been working with the city of Beeville to try and get that mitigated. The city of Beeville is having some issues with some of their equipment, but the issue that we're dealing with, I think it could be handled with pretty quickly. A weed eater could knock down the grass pretty quick, and maybe a little bit of herbicide. So anyhow, that's pretty important. So that's what's been happening. So I'm going to yield the rest of my time to the next commission.
Precinct 3, the first thing is the tax office bill, and that's going extremely well and fast. The contractor's adaptive, figured that they'll be out of there before Christmas. They've already studded, insulated, they've pre-wired, and they are moving quite fast. So there's a few more details that'll come this week, and I bet you by the end of the week, they'll have backflow put on there and, you know, electrical lighting and stuff. So that's coming along really well. Number two, Blanconia. The Blanconia Fire Department was completely demoed and the area was cleared off, so it's already ready for form, so they can start forming the new concrete slab, and I believe that begins tomorrow. And the metal will arrive for that on January the 11th, and they say the construction for that small building will take not a week. They'll have it up and running. Well, stuff. The courthouse generator has not arrived. They pushed the date back another month, so it went from January to February now. So the work out here is still pushed back another month. I had a Zoom meeting with the Texas Association of Counties for the budget for all the state conferences, the West, North and East and South. And that went well for the upcoming conferences, so I had that. And then I went with the Texas Counties and District Retirement System in Austin. I was there for 2 days for budget hearings for that. So got going. And then the next one is the speed limit for Ellis Road. And we have a public hearing coming up at 10 o'clock on that. So Molly, thank you. Chief, thank you for coming by. I had one big one coming up, the Windy Hills RV. This case has been moved out of JP Court and is now in the District Attorney's Office. There's 3 state jail felony charges being filed on it because it exceeds 1,000 pounds and of debris. And of that, it went out of JP Court and jumped over to County Court now. So one of them is for disposing, receiving, and transporting. And so this is already in the District Attorney's office there. And then I had several calls, but they were all taken care of by Road and Bridge, a couple of potholes, so we're good to go there. So I'll yield the rest of my time to Commissioner Beeville.
Y'all keep yielding this time. Y'all don't have any time, and now you have Commissioner DeWitt thinking he's got like 30 minutes. So I'm blaming you too. For Commissioner DeWitt, you have everybody's time.
They're excited because I have stuff. And I am asking for quite a bit of latitude.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
We got our seatbelts on, we're gonna take a mind trip here in a little while.
That's right. As long as it's not a discussion,
No.
go ahead.
A couple of quickies, talking about wind farms. In Whataburger the other day, talking to a farmer down at Tynan. He knows a farmer that has wind turbines on his property, and they're 2 years behind on payments to that farmer. So enter into these leases and agreements with your eyes wide open.
Can I comment on that? I did, thanks to you, well, go ahead, keep going. I'll
Go ahead.
follow up after. No, I did do some follow-up. The challenge, I guess, is the wind farms, but I found out we're not gonna collect their money till the end of January. But the gap is, how does that wind farm pay the actual landowners? Does the county get involved with that?
No, county does not. That's between the wind farm and that landowner.
So they haven't paid their taxes yet, it's coming.
Yeah.
So that
Checks in the mail, right?
Checks in the mail.
Okay. Anyway, let's go to the election that we had a few months ago on the constitutional amendments. They were held up in court by some challenges. That has been resolved. The governor and the attorney general have certified that election. So the homestead exemption, the teacher's pay raise, and all that kind of stuff is good. So that's all done. I think, and I'm speaking out of turn if I'm saying this incorrectly, but it's my understanding that the jail is fully staffed.
Yes, sir.
First time I can remember since being on this court that it's been fully staffed. So my compliments to you, Chief Deputy, the Sheriff, and Ellie, our jail administrator.
I thought we were going to give ourselves a round of applause.
I'm coming to that. I'm working up to that. But y'all did a good job, so thank you. To tie on to what Commissioner Friel was talking about, these lawsuits, we have every county has a litter problem. We have a couple of knotty problems. You have one in your precinct, I have one in mine. And we're doing some additional research to see what we can do. We're having a hard time getting a hold of the landowner. Robbie's doing the best he can to try to rectify that.
Gotten hold of the landowner. She has spoken up and told me where the other gentleman is at. So,
We can discuss this after
Yeah.
the Commissioner's Court.
Anyway, we're taking what in government we call appropriate action. And to help all of us understand what we might, can, or cannot do, I have some reading material for the court.
Christmas gifts.
Christmas gifts, yeah, not a problem. So, if you have any questions about illegal dumping and enforcement, any answer you might ever want is in this book, and it's brand new, it still has, the ink's not even dry, it's so fresh.
Mine's not signed.
You're not signed, I'll sign it after the court, sir. And now, we're gonna take a mind trip, so everybody relax, sit back. We're gonna have a historical mind trip this morning. And I want to take you back to the 1830s, Texas. Okay, a lot of you don't know much about the history in Bee County with Mexico, but Bee County was a major crossing point for Mexican troops heading from Mexico City, to Goliad, to Gonzales, and other places. The Medio Creek near Nomana was the crossing area, probably in the same location where the bridge is now. You may also know, or may not know, over in Goliad, there's a little community called La Bahia. Have you ever wondered why somebody that far from the coast is called La Bahia? La Bahia means the bay. Okay, you've got Aransas Bay and Copano Bay about 50 or 60 miles across. That's where they established the duty station to collect taxes off of those goods coming off those bays in La Bahia, right next to the fort. When Texas was Texas, it was not Texas, it was Mexico in the 1830s. Okay? Abundant grass was belly high to a horse. There was no barbed wire fences. There was no brush and mesquite. Do you know how mesquite got here? Okay, think back, 1830s. Now, people didn't have F-150s and all this kind of stuff. They had horses and they had ox carts. They're moving cattle from Mexico north. What do you feed them? They didn't have hay bales back then. Mesquite beans is what they had. They had those ox carts filled with mesquite beans. Well, guess what happens when those mesquite beans go through an animal? That's why we have mesquite. And as an aside, we have Weesatch because this country was so desolate and drab back then. They found these trees with these little yellow balls on them, these little pretty balls, and they planted them in the yards. That's how come we have Weesatch. Anyway, there were only mots of scatter oak trees around Texas. It was a prairie. Grass was high. There were antelope here. There were bear here, buffalo, a lot of white-tailed deer. Okay, let's continue this mind trip now from the Normanna Creek crossing and on to Gonzales. Do y'all know where Gonzales is? Okay, now, I'm going to mention a name, and I don't think I'm kin to these folks, but DeWitt Colony was in Gonzales. They were granted by the Mexican government 22,000 acres to put in 400 families. 1825, they were authorized these 400 families. Each immigrant had to be of good character, a Christian, swear to obey the federal and state constitution, speak Spanish, and observe the Catholic religion. The laws of Mexico guaranteed them security and prosperity, really. Well, during this same time in the 1825, 1830, now remember that's almost 200 years ago. No fences in this whole state. No barbed wire fences. There was already unrest in the area. Mexico was in a revolution, and the Texas Revolution was beginning. Okay, there was a constitutional government in Mexico that gave DeWitt the authorization for this colony. It was abolished in 1830. The new laws didn't allow any more immigration or colonists. Y'all remember the name Santa Anna? He was in charge. He was a dictator. He took over Mexico. He's running everything. Okay. DeWitt's colony in Gonzales was concerned about Indian raids. So they asked the government of Mexico, we need a cannon to help fight off these Indians. Mexico gave him a cannon, small cannon. Okay. Santa Anna said, I want the cannon back. You don't need that cannon anymore. Have y'all ever heard the phrase, come and take it? That's where it happened. That cannon is still in Gonzales. Okay, what happened, October 3rd, 1835, Mexico to secure this small cannon. The Mexican troops were told, no, you can't have this cannon. We want the cannon. We came to get it. Cannon was in a field. It was pointed to by the Gonzales commander. Now remember, they didn't have F-150s or Jeep Renegades. They had horses. He whirled on his horse and pointed and said, "Fuego, fire!" They fired the cannon. The Mexican troops, oh my goodness, he's firing at us. They wheeled on their horses and they got out of town. The cannon displayed a flag, come and take it. That's where it came from. Remember, these troops may have crossed the Medio Creek, Normanna, on the way to Gonzales. They came through here. A lot of history here. The Gonzales Memorial Museum, that little cannon is sitting there. I want you to remember too, March 2nd, 1836. That's when Texas declared independence from Mexico. A lot of people forget that. If not, we would be citizens of Mexico speaking Spanish. After winning independence, Texas was an independent country. A lot of people don't realize that. We were the Republic of Texas. We were an independent country from 1836 to 1945. You go to some of the old cemeteries, you will see a medallion by some of the old graves that say, "Citizen of the Republic of Texas." It's in the ground by their graves. I know you're wondering, where in the world is he going with this? Not at all. Okay, we can keep going. Well, cannonballs are classified as munitions, right? This completes today's history lesson, and I have a replica munition for each one of the commissioners' court members to help you remember some Texas history.
Commissioner firing off first volley.
And to remember, never, ever, ever give up.
Thank you, Commissioner.
When they tell you something, they come and take it. So, Merry Christmas, and thank you very much.
That was wonderful.
Thank you.
What's next?
Should consider going to teaching.
Go ahead and follow that, Commissioner Lane.
Yield my time.
I can keep going. Yes, I'm done. You can stick a fork in your sir.
Okay. Want to first off congratulate a young man here in town, Jacob Guerrero. If you remember, he is the young man that he had started the Warrior Foundation, and we did a non-for-profit fundraiser for Driscoll Children's Hospital back, months ago. Y'all remember that? And he is a local MMA fighter here in Beeville. He just want to give him congratulations. He fought in his first professional fight and brought home the gold. So congratulations to Jacob. He's the son of Robbie Guerrero. So anyway, attended the Veterans Day ceremony here at the courthouse. I was asked to do the pledge, and also attended the one at St. Mary's Academy. I also want to thank Robbie and our tour guide Ton. It was a Sunday, the week of Thanksgiving. I went by San Pedro Cemetery, knowing that a lot of people from out of town and in town were going to go visit family and whatnot out there, and the cemetery looked horrible. And us three, we did the whole thing from end to end. So thank you guys for helping. Attended the Christmas tree lighting here at the courthouse. If you've never been, you need to go, and if it's been a while since you've been, you need to go. It's amazing sitting and listening to all those children up there singing, and then at the end, it's when you get the high school choir that they were timed on the second floor. It's the acoustics and the voices just gorgeous, awesome. So that was a big success. I also had some calls with Road and Bridge. I got with Jesse about some down stop signs and curb signs. I did also have a man call about the Windy Hills RV Park, and I referred him over to Robbie and just let him know that, that stuff definitely takes time. There was an issue out on 673. There was an enormous pile of debris, and I want to say it took a little over 2 years to finally get all that cleaned up, going through the process, but it finally got done. It's all clean now. Participated in the lighted parade downtown. That was a huge success. That was a ton of people.
ton of entries, probably one of the biggest parades I've seen since the old days of Western Week.
It will do.
It was awesome. So, thanks to everyone that came and everyone that entered. And then last but not least, this Thursday I'll be attending a Judges and Commissioners Conference there in Edna. With that, I will yield my time back to Judge.
Oh, wow, thank you, everybody. Those were great updates. No, I don't have, I'm not gonna regale y'all with anything. Only thing I'll say is to all of our constituents, all of our employees, directors, elected officials, I hope everybody has a wonderful holiday season, no matter how you celebrate or who you're celebrating it with. Moving on to public comment, agenda item number 6. Are there any members of the public who would like to address Commissioners Court? Now is your opportunity. No hands are raised. Moving on, agenda item number 7. The following items are of an administrative nature. Commissioners Court has been furnished documentation on each item, and all such items may be acted upon by one vote without being discussed separately unless requested by a commissioner or county judge.
Move to approve with the comment.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Commissioner, you have the floor.
I want to throw some accolades at the Road and Bridge. They had their annual report in this packet. It is outstanding. Anything you want to know about anything they do is in that annual report. One thing that I gleaned from it, there's 175 miles of county roads in Precinct 2. So that's out of about 440, 450 miles. So you can look at that, tell exactly what you have and how much work they're doing. So thank you. Y'all did a good job. That's it, sir.
Great, thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Discuss and consider action on the following items. Agenda item number 8, approve request to use B County Courthouse on January 1, 2024 for swearing-in ceremony.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 9, approve request to use B County Courthouse on January 10, 2024 for swearing-in ceremony of new county court at law judge. Before I hear a motion, the only thing I would ask is potentially, if the will of the court is to approve this. And the reason why we're doing this for the public, B County, Live Oak County, and McMullen County recently created the second multi-county court at law in the state of Texas. Each of our commissioners' courts have met, and we have all approved the appointment of, actually we have appointed Live Oak County resident Harvey Hardwick to serve as our initial county court at law judge for the second multi-county court at law in the state of Texas. It's a very big, very long name. I mean, it's in the statute. The name of the court is going to be the second multi-county court at law court for B, Live Oak, and McMullen counties. But anyway, we're going to have a special swearing-in ceremony after the first of the year. Usually in election years, the counties will all swear in their new elected officials on January 1st or as near to that as possible. Well, since we're trying to get all 3 counties together and our district judges who are all, their home base is San Patricio County, we're setting it off a little bit later. So what I would request is that January 10 is the date that we're looking at, but we may have to move it. So if y'all could provide me with just a little bit of flexibility on the days there, I won't have to call a special call meeting if I have to change the date.
Move to approve the date to be appointed as appropriate.
Second.
Thank you, gentlemen. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 10, approve contract and agreement for detention of juvenile offenders between B County Juvenile Board and the Juvenile Board of San Patricio County. This is largely housekeeping. It's an annual contract that we enter into.
I think $110 a day or something. Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Agenda item number 11, approved letter of support for Coastal Bend Council of Governments grant submission to the United States Department of Agriculture. Commissioner DeWitt, I think this is your item.
Yes, Judge. What this is, our representative down there, Ms. Teresa Finch, has found a new grant, if you will. It's a little over $700,000 to be utilized in the counties for just a little bit of everything, litter control, one thing and another. And what they need, though, she's going to apply for the grant. She needs support from the local governments, and I recommend that we do support that. There's a form letter that is provided that is set up for the judge to sign. It needs to be sent to her probably this week, so she'll have it any time, Judge. So my motion is to approve this.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Thank you, Commissioner DeWitt, for bringing this to our attention.
Yes, sir.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 12, approve a proposal to allow overtime compensation from grant funds when allowed.
Judge, that is my item also,
Okay.
if you would.
Ms. Cantu.
It's our item. What this is, basically, there's gonna be a more specific item when we get to the ARP, but my thinking was that if we're going to ask that the ARP money be utilized to pay overtime out of that grant, I want to be sure that any entity that's getting a grant has the same opportunity without having to keep coming back to the court. And that's the whole reason of this, if it's allowed by the grant. And that supervisor says, yes, Mr. Smith is having to work on weekends, this grant is tying him up, da-da-da-da-da, or tying her up, whatever it might be. And that's the whole purpose of this, is if there is a grant, whether it's Order Star, whatever it might be, that has a provision that you can pay overtime out of the grant, which we have with ARP, there's a resolution from our person to allow to do that. And that's the reason for this, so it's fair to everybody. That was the reason it was put on there. And I make a motion to approve it.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Further discussion?
Who's in the watch over? Is that the auditor's office?
That's all.
Well, because if a grant is allowed, I mean,
But there are
It's
different
allowed.
stipulations to do all this.
yes,
Oh,
of
absolutely.
course,
Y'all are
of
gonna
course, and
safeguard
everything
it or
has to be,
y'all know?
of course, we have to submit all reporting, and everything has to be in line with the requirements of the particular grant.
Yeah, it's very detailed. I just want to be sure that it's fair to everybody, not just picking out one and say, okay, you can do it for this one. That way they're all the same.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 13, approved memorandum of understanding between the D County Sheriff's Office and the Beeville Police Department for the loan of a 2023 Jeep Renegade vehicle. This is mostly housekeeping.
Move to approve.
I've got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 14, approve request to purchase a generator for the Elections Administration Building. Commissioner DeWitt, I believe this is your item. Is that
Yes, sir, it is. What it is, Madam Election Administrator, you want to take the floor and tell us what's going on and why you need this, and what would happen if you hadn't had it?
Didn't have it?
If you didn't have it, yeah.
Laura Warren, Elections Administrator. I've been trying for a few years, and I know the board has done the best they can with trying to think about how the cost of that's going to associate with the purchase of that building. And probably, hopefully you never need it, but it's better to have it not need it. I did go out and try to get 3 estimates on it. The only one I got on the court for y'all to have a copy of was the first one I got was from Speckles. The second one, I didn't try to attach it, but I did get it because it doesn't print out very well, so I kind of have some data on it. I never received the third one. I called them again, and they were supposed to have it to me at the end of last week, and I haven't gotten it. If we are without electricity, like we were on the day after election that was held in November, I have to have some way to keep the elections running. Whether it be move it to a site that's got electricity or stuff. In this case, we would have been in trouble because it was basically countywide. I would have been able to leave the Expo open because they're on San Pat Electric. But everything else that's on, I guess it's AEP electric, or goes through that electric, it's gonna cause a problem and stuff. So if it means that, I have no authority to cancel an election, to postpone an election, or anything. Only the governor of Texas can do that. And so it really concerns me that we could be in a position to either a hurricane or something occurring, storms, anything, or in this case, just a wire being down that brought electricity into it. And we were about 2.5 hours past election time. So if that would have happened the day before, I would have been hurting for a solution.
Ms. Morris, if I could, let me add a few things.
Yes, sir.
Basically, our elections are electronic. If the electricity goes out, we can't hold the election. Well, you have to hold the election. You can't say, well, we're going to finish it tomorrow. No, the election has to be now. What Ms. Mornix has also done, and she left this part out, the Justice Center has a generator, except we checked, you can't run the wire over to her office. It can't do it. We thought, well, let's just run a wire over and take care of it. It won't work. So on my instructions, she went out and checked. You can get this same generator cheaper. The bid is a little over $14,000 from Smeckle, local contractor. But if they're not an authorized dealer, there's no warranty. And they don't have the parts. Smeckle is authorized, they've been to the training. This is a inexpensive fix. It will power their whole building, run it on natural gas, local plumber puts it in, turnkey, it's a little over $14,000. Put yourself in y'all are now elected administrators, and you've got a major election going on. They're all major. I don't care if there's only one out of them, they're all major. You've got this election going on, and your electricity goes out. What do? Think about it. What in the world will you do? And I can only imagine, it happened the day after the election. And the electricity was out, what, 6.5 hours?
No, I think it was like 2.5 hours, or from the time we would
All
open.
over Beeville. And that's why this is coming before the court. And correct me, Madam Auditor, we have fund balance, if you will, that can pay for this.
In order to use fund balance, it would have to be an emergency
Well, I think-
declaration by the court.
As an election is an emergency, because if we don't have it for the next one, we've got a problem. So that's where we are, gentlemen. Any questions or anything before we?
Yeah, I do. Thank you for that explanation. You didn't answer one of my questions, because my thought was, is there any way that we could leverage the power off of the Justice Center into, apparently you've already researched that.
John
They can't do
went
that.
into great detail to find out, and we can't do it.
Okay. Second, is this an issue with other election offices? Are they, that, other counties, do they have temporary generators? in other
They probably
counties?
haven't thought of this problem yet. I can't answer for them. I don't know. I know that they're gonna have the same problem though if they're holding an election, their electricity goes out because they're using pretty much the same type of equipment we are.
It seemed like they would have thought of that a while back, but.
Some of the offices I do know, like especially in North Texas, have that. They have generators. They've been through storms, ice storms and different things that happen. They, when we have a listserv, and as soon as the weather gets bad and they're expecting tornadoes and they're going, can we close our offices down? And you can't. It doesn't matter. You cannot close an office without approval of the governor of Texas.
In this generator, it's the same type. Matter of fact, I'm getting a bid for our personal use. It'll fit on about half of this table. There's a little maintenance contract, $150 a year, whatever it might be. They come out and be sure the oil is done, the battery's charged, that sort of thing. And it's pretty seamless. Several of the neighbors in our neighborhood have those. And I guarantee you, they click on instantly when the electric goes off. When it comes back on, they click back off. It's seamless.
Just,
And the other bid you got?
yeah, that's what I was just fixing to say. The other bid I got was from a gentleman out of Corpus, and he's proposing a 3-phase generator for a total cost of $48,650, which is considerably more than the other one. And I haven't gotten the third bid, but I understand they were trying to quote a 3-phase generator also. So,
Question. So what do the other EAs have as a backup?
I could not answer that, Commissioner. I have no idea.
And have we looked at maybe like a rental generator during this specific period of time, maybe?
I don't know where you would read the rent on it.
Well, then how do you hook it up? I mean, this is a permanent solution for $14,000 roughly.
The gas line is
I'm not
already
disagreeing,
right there.
just kind of curious if we exhausted, other potential options.
The other one's the
The emergency, how would you?
The emergency is if there's an election coming up, and if you don't have this in place, and the electricity goes out, it's more than an emergency then. Judge, you're pondering. Tell us what you're thinking.
I appreciate, to begin with, I appreciate all the work that you and Ms. Warnick have done on this. So please don't interpret any of my questions as an opinion or position or thought. Just a couple bright line determinations. Have we followed our own procurement policy? Are we, as far as the process goes, we check boxes that we need to? It's a small purchase. It's under 50,000. I'm presuming the answer is yes.
Smeckles is one of our Appendix B vendors, and they are automatically under the 40. If this, you know, the only thing I would say is, you know, these kinds of things usually wait until budget time.
We'll get to, yeah. No, thank
How
you.
about like an RFQ, so everybody bid on the same thing? at
No,
the
no,
same
but
time?
It's not,
Yeah,
it's not
no,
that big a
it's-
project.
Yeah, so then, second question that popped up is, availability. Do we know?
Yes.
What's,
It is
what's,
available.
okay, so if we were to approve it,
It'd be in January.
okay. Second.
Like I said, I was checking because I'm gonna do the same thing.
No, I appreciate that, yeah, no, they are wonderful. I don't have one.
Commissioner Frias has,
Some people do.
it is business.
I want about this, I want about.
Yeah, his lights are always on.
Well, I know where I can move it on, I don't get one.
Oh, move, hot copy, and that's,
Shower,
that,
$5 whenever y'all are.
and that's my last question, Ms. Warnick's. And again, I'm not giving you an indication on how I feel one way or the other, I'm just asking the question. Because if we are going under an emergency, then we need to be able to say that there's not another reasonable alternative that could work for the emergency purposes. I have another thought after that, so let's not get too worked out. Ms. Warnick, if the power went out during the March primary, and during the March primary, because that's the next election, all voting will occur at the elections office only?
Early voting.
All early voting. Okay, so but on the day of election, all voting will be in precincts with our...
We have 9 locations.
Okay, so the electrical component with respect to on voting day, if we lose power at your office, at the elections office, the need for electrical service there has to do with operating the machinery to collect and tally the votes after they've already been
Our
done.
telephones to have communications with our judges in our polling places on election day, that would be part of it because our phones come through the
Understood.
electric poles also. But, I mean, we have other events that happen in our office. Our early voting ballot board is there on that day. We do our tallying at night, all of that.
I understand. I'm just trying to get to the emergency component of it. The pads that we vote on, are those battery operated or?
For 2 hours.
For 2 hours, okay. And what happens if on election day, on primary election day, if we have a countywide power outage?
I would have to move to where I did have electric, like in this case, if the expo was still open, I would have to do an emergency move, you post notices, you have to.
You're right, yeah, so like
Well,
people show up and you're like, sorry, but what if it's countywide? We have no power in the county, then what do we do?
Why? That is good when you're gonna be scrambling, you're gonna have to have election anyway, so if I have a generator, it may be move it all to my office. You know, that's the situation, or like in this case, if Sam Pat was still operating, I could
Move it down to
have
Sam
those
Pat.
2 places and try to find locations that have it, or borrow a generator from Commissioner Farias.
So Skidmore, if the power goes out there, are they dependent on electrical as well?
Would be at Sammy's and everybody that votes would get a free burger, I'll take the whole basket. Or
I
12
voted and I
wings.
get a
That's
burger.
right, yeah, thank you, Commissioner Farias, for encouraging our community, our constituents to vote. You know, it is recorded, and I heard it, he said, yeah, absolutely, I heard that, and it's clear on the record. make sure, please, Brittany, that you include that in our minutes.
Okay.
Mrs. Cantor, this is a sub-$15,000 project. Rather than, again, and I could not agree with April more. We need to have these discussions starting in May of every year, and in the summer, we need to think about them, and then we need to have the discussion. We have already made multiple changes to our budget that we approved at the end of September. And we need to, there's no reason why we can't, except that we're all very busy, and I get that. So my question to you, Mrs. Cantor,
Yes.
and I'm not gonna use Commissioner DeWitt's favorite phrase.
Thank you.
Is there,
Thank you.
is there the ability to work within our existing budget to fund this project without having to declare an emergency and pulling out of reserve funds or going through any of those other more dramatic budgetary changes?
That would be up to you. We have monies in 409, and that would be up to you. I would just like to remind that we are in the process of several big projects that we have not gone through, but that is up to you, Judge.
Okay. If I were to give you a crystal ball and ask you to look into the future with respect to what we've already agreed that we're going to be doing here, how close do you think we are to the line?
That would be up to you, Judge.
Okay.
I do not have a crystal ball, so it would be, it's up to you. If
I
you would like to
understand.
use funds that
I
that are in
appreciate that.
409, they are available currently.
Well, then to prevent anything from ever coming back to you or to any of the commissioners, I'll make a motion to utilize funds out of 409 to move forward with the purchase of a generator for the Elections Administration building on the Smeckle Electric bid of $14,250.80.
Second that.
And I'm sorry I took it away from you.
No, I'm glad you did, Judge.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Judge, we have 4 departments here. They share a little bit out of each one. Sheriff's Office, Road and Bridge, Community Affairs.
Sir, I'm trying to get along with my coworkers.
That's right, we're not tied to 409, so yeah, thank you, Sheriff's Office, for your generous donation of the Elections Administration.
Molly's shaking her head back there too.
Oh, Road and Bridge, you want to jump in? Thank you. I mean, this really is the giving season. Thank you.
It is.
No, in all seriousness, thank you for bringing this to our attention. And again, it's, we really need to do this during the budget season. Any further discussion?
One comment. Any event that we do have a freeze, what is the plan for the surrounding counties that we have election machines at? What would typically happen? Say if they lose power in Skidmore.
I cannot speak to other counties.
No, here in Skidmore.
No, you
So-
said other counties, so.
Okay, I'm sorry, other
So,
towns.
in Skidmore, if we have an election going on, if we don't have electricity, it'll have to be moved to the place that we do, which would be my office with this generator, hopefully Expo, some options as to do that.
Okay, so
Or a
we'll shut
possibility
down.
of trying, like you say, to rent some, but if, how fast that's gonna go if everybody's without electricity. So I don't know anybody locally that rents generators like that.
It's a planning process,
Yeah.
and that's all, yeah, so if Skidmore was to shut down, Beeville shut down, we basically shut those offices, the locations down.
The locations would have to be consolidated and moved. And the first contact I have to do is I have to contact the Secretary of State's office, explain the situation, let them know that they're being moved, so if they start getting calls, they know what's happening. There's a process that we have to go
Has that
through.
ever
It's in our continuing operation plan.
Has that ever happened?
Not since I've been in office. I know some offices and some of them have, some of the other counties have had to move, some for threats in our office. They've had every situation. They've had freezes, they've had all kinds of things and stuff.
Do you have a plan in place?
We have a continuing operation plan in place.
Anything further?
No.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Ms. Warren.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Ms. Cantu. Moving on, agenda item number 15, approve adoption of a county resolution regarding the length of time campaign signage can be in place before and after an election. Mrs. Warnick, you're already up there, why don't you
Yeah, that's why I said.
lead it off?
Just this, something that has come up and been in discussion from several different people and stuff. I've had some calls, quite a few calls from residents in the county requesting to contact somebody to have their signs removed. They've been up, they're up for 3 months after an election, et cetera, et cetera. I have no control over signs. That is not in purview of my authority. I tell them that if it's on private property, we can't really do anything about it. A person's entitled to do whatever they want to on their property within guidelines of what the county allows. I did contact the city of Beeville and got a copy of their ordinance that they have, and they have a limit of 7 days on election signs. And of course, it's no city property, no right-of-way, it's the same thing kind of what the county does. And the county has ordered that nothing be placed on county property, but I don't think there's ever been a time limit discussed. And this is just something that was brought to me to ask to be brought to the court to maybe consider possibly making a county ordinance on it. And I would suggest, since we already have, if the court's gonna consider it, since there's already campaign signs up, that you make it at a future date, so that they have time to publish it and get it out there. And this is just something I was asked to put on the floor, so I'm opening the floor to the commissioners and their
So
thoughts.
what are the dates now? Refresher?
The dates now, there is no, as soon as they file their campaign treasurer's appointment, if it's in March, and they're not gonna be on till the next one, they can have a sign up right now by legal authority. Within,
On personal property.
on personal property or property that they're given permission that somebody owns. So it can stay up for a year at that point. That's kind of a rule of thumb within 10 days. That there used to be in-place laws that said they had to come down 10 days after an election. But that was at the Ethics Commission, and that's nowhere in there where we can find it now.
It was like 90 days prior to that?
That's kind of was the rule of thumb, 90 days
Oh, so-
prior and then 10 days afterwards.
Okay.
But now, and that's kind of always been that's, like I say, that's not in my purview. I know that I've talked to party chairs, and that's what they tell their candidates, that, you need to do it at that time. But
If I could just say a few
Please.
words. I've been through a couple of elections, and one of them I had a runoff. Those signs were up all year because of the runoff. So to say they gotta go up and come down, number one, we don't have the authority to do that. We, as a court, can't tell a private property owner, you gotta take that sign down. Or tell a candidate, you gotta go get that sign off that private property. That's private property. We don't have that authority. I looked up the Republican Party website on campaign signs. When can campaign signs be posted? TxDOT has indicated the general rule for posting campaigns is as early as 90 days before an election. Generally, it's least effective for signs to be posted close to an election. However, restrictions to private property rights other than on homeowners could be subject to legal challenge. When should campaign signs be removed? Campaign signs should be removed shortly after the election, generally within 10 days unless there's a runoff. Then I went to the Ethics Commission and looked at theirs. Theirs is even more ambiguous. It says, the Texas Ethics Commission does not have jurisdiction over matters involving the location of signs and the length of time that they may be posted. I don't think we have that authority either.
they refer you to TxDOT, is where they do
Well,
Texas Ethics.
any public property, it's already a law, you can't post on it. And we even did a resolution about 10 or 12 years ago, because we had one person, had them all the way from here to San Antonio. And the sheriff's office and some of the others were out removing realtor signs, our signs, everybody's signs, because they were on public property. And TxDOT removed them too. We did a resolution, because TxDOT doesn't like to touch them, because you don't want to touch anybody else's sign.
Right.
You could go to TxDOT and pick up your signs, but we had an individual that posted signs on every highway from here to San Antonio, and we got a lot of complaints. Now, when you put them on a fence, that's private property, that fence belongs to that landowner. So, but once they get into public property, they're fair game to be taken up.
I guess what
And
you
I-
do is you can just highly encourage each candidate to go pick them up, within 2 weeks after an election.
I I would recommend that I get to turn this over and let y'all maybe do a study on this, maybe Judge read through this, because the city does actually have quite a few ordinances on inside the city limits of what, and it appears to me by reading it, it even includes private properties. So
City has
I
a
would
lot of
rather somebody
authority
else look at this.
that counties don't. We are only given the authority that the state of Texas gives us. Cities are home rule, they can make up just about any kind of
Yeah,
ordinance
they are
want.
home rule.
Anything they want. Counties can't do that. We're limited to what the state of Texas says you can do, period.
You just bring that to my office.
Okay. I just
Thank you.
was asked to do something, so I did.
Okay.
Thanks for that explanation. I wasn't aware, so I thought that 90 day before was kind of a cut in stone, but I didn't realize it was suggested.
And what happens, and we've all been in our first election, you're excited, I want to get them up quick. So as soon as you get the signs in, you go start putting them up. But the longer they're up, they become what they call stale, and people don't see them anymore.
Exactly.
So there's something about putting them up too early, and it's interesting. I'll just leave it at that.
No, I
will not say any more.
appreciate that. I know when I was
Yeah.
running, if I wanted to do it a week before, I was afraid to because I was breaking the law. But there is no law.
There is no
so-
law. Not in the county.
Thank you.
City
Thanks, man.
has ordinances.
Okay, let's move on, and I just am gonna make note, it's 9:56, so in 4 minutes, we're gonna call, we're gonna pause on this one and call another, meeting, just for fun. But I do wanna get this out first. Agenda item number 16, accept Government Finance Officers Association Certificate of Achievement recognizing B County for the 2022 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report for Excellence in Financial Reporting. Ladies and gentlemen, our auditor's office is superlative in everything that they do. Led by Mrs. Cantu, but her entire team, they work tirelessly for our counties. Sometimes our department don't like having to deal with the auditor's office because sometimes the auditor's office is saying no, but they do so from a fiscal perspective, and they keep us within the barriers. They keep us in good financial condition. I can't tell you how much I appreciate everything that you do, April, and everything that your office does on a daily basis for us. You allow, you take the pressure off of Commissioner's Court. So thank you, and this is not the first award or recognition that they've received. If they were to frame and hang the recognitions on the wall, the walls would be covered with frames of recognitions. And I will make, this one is particularly important because apparently the executive director of the Government Finance Officers Association is a moral, which I don't think I've ever seen before. So, but if everybody please join me in giving Mrs. Cantu and office a big round of applause. Thank you. You have anything you'd like to say for the next?
I just want to say thank you to, of course, our court, my district judges, all of our offices, my wonderful staff. They're just top-notch, and I appreciate everybody's cooperation as we're getting into the 2023 outside audit. So I appreciate those kind of words. Thank you, Judge.
If I could add on to that.
Absolutely, we
Just
still have a
few
little
things.
bit of time. We've got a minute and a half.
I worked with several auditors in my tenure with Lee County. This auditor is by far the easiest to work with. She knows what she's doing. She leads us in the right direction. And it's always a pleasure to work with her in her office. They all work together. They're here for the good of the county. They're not here for any other reason. And I appreciate it. I really do. And I mean that sincerely.
Thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate those words. Thank you.
Keeps us legal.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
Keeps money in our pocket, which is also.
That's the goal too, and we've been wonderfully successful at that these last
So far,
years.
we're working on it though.
Yes.
We're seeing what we can do this
Thank
year,
you.
folks.
Thank you all very much.
Okay, all right, at this point in time, I'm going to recess our 9 o'clock regular term meeting. We will resume the 9 o'clock regular meeting upon the conclusion of our special called meeting, which will begin shortly. Don't wait for the fun one.
Judge, do you
I have
want me
lots
to
of work
stop
to
this and start a new one?
No, I think you can just run them through as long as, I mean, you're gonna be writing it up, so
Mhm.
it'll be
Okay.
fine. Okay,
Judge, I'm gonna pass these out, some of these.
okay, yeah, absolutely. Okay, good morning, everybody. The time is 10 a.m. Monday, the date is Monday, December 11th, 2023. I'm going to call this special called meeting of the Beeville County Commissioners Court to order. We are physically located at the Beeville County Courthouse, Commissioners Courtroom, number 110, 105 West Corpus Christi Street, Beeville, Texas 78102. That was the call to order. Moving on, discuss and consider action on the following items. Agenda item number 2, public hearing pursuant to Texas Transportation Code, Chapter 251.154, entitled Maximum Reasonable and Prudent Speeds on County Roads, to consider setting a speed limit of 35 miles per hour on Ellis Road, south of Highway 59 in Beeville, Texas, and allocation of costs thereof. Subpart A, public hearing in regard to setting speed limit of 35 miles per hour on Ellis Road, south of Highway 59 in Beeville, Texas, 10 a.m. And subpart B, action on allocation of funds and costs thereof. So I will open the public hearing. Is there any members of the public who wish to address Commissioners Court? Yes, sir. Please come up, state your name, stand at the lectern, and just give us your name so we have it on the record, and then let us know what you got to say, sir.
I'm Dwayne King. I live on Ellis Road. I've had property on there since 1990. We've always had issues with speed limits. I was suggesting, I don't know how far it's gonna go, but 35 where the residential is and where it ends, that Paul's property over here, and then at the right before you get to the creek, and after that's 45. We have deer, we have pigs, we have dogs. It's a real hazard. And when we exercise on the road, we ride bikes. And my neighbors over here, we ride bikes. People come through there like, no one's business, and most of them are courteous. They'll pull off the side for us, and but others are, you take your life in your own hands, basically. Most of the residents, we live before the creek, are R1s at the very end off of Parker Hollow. But it just, we've been living out there. Paul, he has his house closest to the road. You can probably detest or see how many people come speeding down the road and stuff. But as far as taking it to 55, like some people suggested, then there's no way, because most of the time you have to go on the side of the road to pass everybody, But all I say is that for us on Ellis Road, having a posted speed limit would really, really help us. 35, like I said, up to the creek, before the creek, and then 45 after that, that's fine. But one other issue is at night, foggy or rainy, you can miss our. I request a light or something at the 59 entrance there so we can actually see the road. My wife's actually missed our entrance and stuff. It's a safety factor and everything else besides the speed limit. It wasn't so much an issue when the road was original, but when they put that curve in there, that kind of changed it up a little bit. So that's all I have to say there.
Thank you, Mr. Keith. Is there anybody else who'd like to address Commissioners Court? Yes, sir, come on up. Same thing, just please state your name for the record and stand at the lectern, and then you have the floor, sir.
My name's Paul Navasic, and I'm going to spell my last name because, well, it begins with a G. So it's Gnabasik. I live at 2722 Ellis Road. I also own the property. And if you've ever been down that part of Ellis Road, it's a kind of a dirty yellow house, hidden a little bit by trees, and I promise I'm going to get it painted. But the real reason I'm here is not because of the aggravation of having cars go by and trucks at 60, 65 miles an hour. It's because I have grandchildren. And my grandchildren are ages 7 and 9. So they're at that age where, yeah, there's a fence, but that's just a minor deterrent. They play, they could go outside, and that would be a horror. So I can leave you with that. I think 35 to 45 is fine, but 65, 70, because, you think, nobody's here, and that's just not true. So That's what I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
No basic.
Basic.
It's all right, you get your first 50 times.
Is there anybody else who has, yes, please come down. Same thing as well, please identify yourself for our record. Let us know what you got.
So, my name is Penny Higginbottom, and we live at 2732 Ellis Road. We live over by them. And I agree with Mr. Key on the speed limit, just like from the main entrance of Ellis Road to right where that first creek is, about 35 is good because there's residential homes, children that go out and play. There's also a couple of dogs that run around out there, and then a lot of deer. I mean, we've had so many deer get hit here lately on the side of the road, it's not even funny. So 35, I'm saying till the creek cross, that first creek crossing, and then 45 is good. But regardless what we set it at, we also need to have someone enforcing it, because if no one comes to enforce it, it doesn't matter, they're still gonna go 65, 75 miles an hour. And as he also stated, the road's so narrow, when someone comes at you, you have to pull over on the side of the grass to get past them. So if you're going that fast, that could also create an accident for someone. And that's all I have to say about the speed.
Thank you, Ms. Higginbottom. Is there anybody else who'd like to address Commissioner's Court at this time? Entertain a motion to close public hearing. I have a motion, I have a second. I have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Okay, public hearing is now closed. Move on to agenda item 2, subpart B, action on allocation of funds and costs thereof. Is this where we can take action on this?
Yes, sir.
Now? Okay. Commissioner Fadias, this is in your precinct. This is your project. You have the floor, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Thank y'all for coming to the public court to speak up here. And I was given a note by the Road and Bridge, and back in 2000, there was a 35-mile-an-hour speed limit sign at the beginning. It's gone now. Okay, but we can get that put up. So just for records, Miss Molly brought this up, and she said, yes, back in October 2nd of 2000, there was a sign, and it was, I guess, stolen from there.
So did we already set the speed limit?
Apparently so.
In 2000.
In
That's what I brought up
2000,
to
23 years ago. So there is a speed limit there, but it hasn't been put until I got a call from Mr. Meyer and then from y'all and saying, hey, they're going too fast so now. So do we need to take action?
I don't think so. Not if it's already 35. What we need to do though is get some signage and maybe set it in concrete a little bit deeper than we did before. Did they actually take the sign off of the post? Or
I didn't see a post. I've been driving and been looking. I didn't see a post there. So if we've already taken action on this, it will be back to 35. And then I've got Chief Deputy Jones here. Maybe we can get out there and, maybe in the afternoons going home, maybe we can get some of these guys to see a presence out there. Hey, slow down a little bit. Respect the other people that do it.
Well, once it's posted, it's enforceable, so.
Ms. Molly, do you know? I don't know. Put you on the spot here.
Spot.
Do you know if is it 35 the entirety of Ellis Road, or is it?
Yes, it was at both ends.
Oh. Okay. Well, that's good. Well, all's well that ends well so far, right? I mean, at least we crossed that hurdle.
If I could, Judge, to my knowledge, that's what's posted on most county roads. I know up in the north part of the county, 35, that's it. The thing you get into, like Ms. Higginbotham said, they're very narrow. There's no center stripe. So to go much faster than that is hazardous at the very least. So 35 is pretty standard, Judge, if you would.
So we just keep it at that, no action?
Yeah, I don't even think we need to take action to put up signs.
I do want to answer Mr. Paul, and I'm not even going to attempt to say that.
I've asked you.
Got 49 minutes.
49 minutes, okay.
So close.
I'm getting closer. I have been in contact with Mr. Vicente from TxDOT, and we are currently looking at the problem with Nick Novosad, the engineer from Karn City, about getting some lighting there, or at least so we can see it and not miss it, So that is in the works right now. Okay, so I just do want to let you know that. So, judges, since there isn't any motion,
We can move on, but first I will say this, there is a potential project, green energy project, that's gonna be going in just to the side, I don't know if y'all are familiar with that, just to the southeast of Ellis Road. And as we've done in years past with other large-scale alternative energy projects, there may be an opportunity with respect to the Ellis Road, Ellis Road itself. When they do, if they do get their project off the ground.
to improve it.
Road use agreement.
Because they're gonna be running a whole bunch of heavy trucks on that for quite some time.
We just got it fixed with AEP when they went out there and they paid for the material and Road and Bridge redid that road. Now there's another project potentially in the works, right? You know, so we might be able to sharpen our pencil and get y'all lighting or a better road or what, you know, improve that out there.
Yeah, that the electrical power station, being built out there,
Yes, sir.
substation.
A lot of heavy trucks have been going from that as well.
Yes, ma'am. And I, like I said, probably in a couple of years, if federal, Build Back Better plan persists, then there's probably gonna be another big project that's gonna be utilizing those.
So that's coming in the future, so just so y'all know right now. Then we take no action.
Yeah, don't need any action at all.
We'll just get to work on the signs, because Molly's here from Road and Bridge, and we'll get some signs posted back up there. After they're posted back up there, I'll notify Chief, and then maybe Chief can kind of give a couple of pass-bys there, and, make his presence a little bit better known.
Commissioner, I might recommend, normally we put a sign at the end, on the end. We might put some in the middle this time too, because of the response. I would recommend additional signs than we normally put up.
And thank y'all for bringing this to our attention in doing so in the manner that you have done. I really appreciate it. I do appreciate your candor, your professionalism, and your communication with the court. Thank you, Commissioner Fidias, for bringing this to our attention as well.
Yes, sir.
There's no further discussion. We have no executive session items. Move on to adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
On that item,
Yeah, wait, on this special call meeting, the 10 a.m. meeting.
move to adjourn on that special call.
Second.
10 a.m.
I've got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception, I believe. Okay. That was a fun sidelight. Now, I'm going to bring us back to the 9 a.m. regular term meeting of Beeville County Commissioners Court. We were in a brief recess. The time is 10:13 a.m. and we are back in the 9 a.m. regular term meeting. Moving on to agenda item number, on agenda item number 16, before I move past that, should we have a formal motion and second to approve it, or is it just
It's just to accept.
acknowledgement?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Then moving on, agenda item number 17, approved capital bearing and hydraulics credit application for the P County Road and Bridge Department.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's pretty much how.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm sorry, I should have said that.
That's all right.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. I just gotta read this. Okay, perfect. All right, moving on, agenda item number 18, approved resolution authorizing overtime and comp pay for the grant administrator as an American Rescue Plan Act project.
Judge, this is the one that we alluded to earlier, and I think that Ms. Leach is here from GrantWorks. We have to do a resolution setting the money up for this next year, and I think what we're setting up, a budget of $5,000, is that correct? Maximum?
Not to exceed.
Not to exceed?
Yes, sir.
And the resolution's in your packet, and it will be paid totally from the American Rescue Plan money. I know that Ms. Rana is having to work weekends and overtime. The thing you get into in that office, there's only one person, because we're gonna get into overtime in another office later, and that's a little different situation. There's only one person. And if you will, this court keeps giving her more and more and more grants. and she's doing a fantastic job, but
Yes,
she really is.
She really is.
And I'm totally in favor of this, Judge, and I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 19, approve emergency management request for partial comp time payout for deputy emergency manager. Mr. Garza?
Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Good. So we make this motion to,
Hold
partially,
on.
okay.
Hold on a second. Thank you, deputy. Tell them in the nicest way possible.
Okay, so I need to go.
Just one shot.
Well done, thank you, ma'am. Mr. Garza, you have the floor.
Say a word.
So we're requesting to partially pay out Rob's comp time. Currently, I think he's at 130-something hours, the last report that I saw. So we're requesting to pay out 100 hours of it. As many of you know, our job isn't just Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, sitting in the office. We are all over the place, and we are at the mercy of emergencies and anything that's happening that requires us to be there. So that's basically the reason for requesting the partial payout.
What's the total amount, do you know?
The request is for 100 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we didn't get a breakout sheet from payroll, but there is funding in 409 for a payout
Judge, I
of that
have
sort, which
no
it would
questions.
not exceed the
Yeah,
budget.
Yeah, hold on.
It wouldn't exceed the
And
budget.
I went by HR this morning, and I've got the timesheets, and I have some questions about the timesheets. What is our personnel policy about breaks in the morning and lunch?
Under the policy 6.00 and then 6.01 work week is, the normal work week is Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 with 1 hour lunch break for a total of a 40-hour per work week. In the morning and afternoon, breaks of 15 minutes may be authorized by the responsible elected official and or department head, but if authorized, this time does not accumulate if not taken.
The reason I'm asking the question, looking at these timesheets, correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm looking at these wrong, going to work at 7:40, getting off at 4:30, and charging 8.75 hours for work. Going to work at 7:40, getting off at 5, charging 9.25 hours. Going to work at 7:35, getting off at 4:40, 9.25 hours. 7:30 to 5, 9.5 hours. Are we not taking lunch? What's going on?
It just depends on the day. We
Well-
may have a meeting that's scheduled. A lot of the last few months has been meeting about the EOC. We worked through lunch with Commissioner Olivares a couple of times.
The reason I'm asking, my previous career, when I was in Austin, we had this happening. And people say, well, I work through lunch. I want overtime. Well, that's why I wanted the lunch, our personnel policy on time. Because if we do it for one department, we have to do it for all of them. Well, I'm gonna work through lunch and go home at 4 o'clock. Judge, I've got a problem with it. If it only happened once or twice, but it's on every time sheet, I don't understand. I pulled 3 of them off what y'all submitted, and even this day, he worked from 7:35 to 2:45 for 7.25 hours. Here's 7:18 to 4, 8.75 hours. It's each day. It's not a meeting because you were there, I was there. It's almost every day he's working over 8 hours a day, working through lunch. And there's 2 people in that office. Judge, I think we ought to look at this a little closer before we approve it.
I'd entertain a motion to table,
I'll move to table this.
and let's table it. When is our second meeting in January? Dolores and us. I don't think I forgot about you.
Give it 20 seconds.
And we might have them get with our HR department and kind of look at this a little closer. Maybe these are in error, I don't know, but almost every day, it's more than an 8-hour day for 7:40 to 4:30.
I'd entertain a motion to table this agenda item until our January 22nd, 2024 Commissioners Court meeting.
A second with the comment.
I have a motion and a second. Commissioner Olivares, you have the floor.
Just one comment, Commissioner. I know you're pretty savvy with the policy. I need to get brush up on the particular policy, but is it possible that the supervisor could use some discretion when they have to work through a lunch hour or so forth, maybe to be given some allocated time behind it? Just throwing those
Oh,
things out.
that's a given, but not almost every day. I mean, it happens where you have to work. And normally what used to happen in Austin, man, I had to work through lunch. Can I go ahead and leave at 4? Because I worked an hour for lunch. Because you get in the habit. We had people that wanted to bank their 15 minutes in the morning and the evening and take that off too. And that's not happening here at all. But you get into a situation where, hey, I work through lunch, so I'm leaving at 4. And it extends from one department to another once it gets started.
Yeah, and then, obviously, I'll look more into that, and I think that would be fair and equitable to the individual as well, too. And the only thing I can say is that, I have worked with a couple of these individuals, not only for the EOC, but also for emergencies, and I have actually witnessed those individuals there. I've not scrutinized their time sheets as close as maybe you have, but I can vouch, they were there, I was with them side by side.
I understand totally. It's just, these jumped out at me when I only pull this is for, let me see what month. 4th month, 5th month, and 8th month. I just pull those 3 off because they've submitted them as part of the exhibit. And it's over and over and over.
Good, now I'm glad we're going to table it, give us some time
Yeah.
to take a look at it.
Let HR take a hard look at it.
Any further discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Agenda item number 20, approved contract for construction of the Emergency Operations Center between D County and Victory Building Team.
Yeah, Judge, Madam Auditor, if you're okay, and Jen, you want to bring it up, you want me to take the lead? Okay, please. So basically, the contract has been reviewed, I reviewed it, the county attorney has approved it, GrantWorks reviewed it as well, so we have and also our engineering firm has reviewed it as well too. So I feel we have a fairly good contract in place. The only thing lacking to move forward is getting approval from the court, and I think we'll be good to go. I'd like to open it to you ladies if you don't have anything else.
Yes, sir. You'll see the note on that letter transmittal. Mr. Knight did take a look at it and reviewed it as well. So, if y'all have any questions, reach out.
There's a lot of eyes on it.
Do you have a motion?
So Judge, thank you.
You did good.
Thank you, thank you. Sorry, just all kind of thoughts were going through my mind here. But yes, Judge, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the contract to issue to Victory.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Thank you all for all of your efforts in this regard. I know it's a big project and it's taken a lot of time. Thank you, Commissioner Olivares, Jennifer, GrantWorks, and everybody else. Anything further? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Agenda item number 21, approved Texas opioid settlement agreements. There are no agreements to approve. Moving on, agenda item number 22, Hurricane Harvey, Texas General Land Office, GLO, Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, status and project update. Commissioners Farias, Olivares, anything to update?
Nothing, Natalie had said there's no news on the projects that we have going, so we're hopefully awaiting to see if they'll be all approved and go forward.
Excellent. Anything further? Moving on, agenda item number 23, American Rescue Plan, ARP, status and projects. Commissioners DeWitt, Lenny, anything?
It's all tied up in the OC.
Perfect. All right. We have no executive session items.
Just making interest, that's all.
Oh, yeah, it is earning interest, and that's wonderful. There are no executive session items, so I move on to agenda item number 24, entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. We are adjourned. Thank you all for your time, presence, and patience today.